Hi, have you ever worried that you shuffle too much when you run? And by shuffling, I just mean not picking your feet up very far off the ground. Is it okay to shuffle? That depends on how fast you're running. If you're running 6-minute Ks or slower, then shuffling is actually a good and efficient way of moving. If you're running 5.5-minute Ks or faster, then it will help to be better at picking your feet up off the ground. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's demonstrate a few of these running techniques. This is what it's like to shuffle at a slow speed. So you can see here that I'm running at a fairly slow pace. My strides are short. I'm not picking my feet up off the ground, but it actually looks relatively smooth and efficient. Okay, this is what it's like to shuffle at a fast speed. So you can see here, it looks pretty awkward. I've got a really high cadence. My strides are pretty short, but it doesn't look very smooth and it certainly doesn't look very efficient. Okay, this is what it's like to pick your feet up quite a lot, but at a slow speed. So you can see here that I'm picking my feet up off the ground quite well, but my cadence is really low, and because of that I'm actually bouncing up and down quite a bit, and so therefore I'm hitting the ground relatively hard. Okay, and lastly, this is what it's like picking your feet up and running at a faster speed. So here I'm running at a relatively fast pace. I'm picking my feet up well, my foot's landing under my body, and it looks like I'm running fairly smoothly. So, hopefully that was a good demonstration of whether or not you're okay to shuffle. If you're running at a relatively slow pace, then shuffling is an efficient way to move because your cadence can be high and you'll still have a short stride. If you're running at a fast speed, then shuffling is not so good because you'll either have to overstride or have a cadence which is way too high, and that burns up too much energy. If you're running slowly and picking your feet up a lot, then your cadence is likely to be quite low, and that puts more impact pressure on your body. Finally, if you're running fast and picking your feet up quite a lot, then that is pretty much the gold standard, and without question, it is what you'll see most of the world's best runners doing. And one very important point to clarify is not that I think you should all be running fast and picking your feet up. Whether or not you shuffle depends on the speed at which you run, and that'll depend on your fitness levels and your running goals. Now, if you're training to run a 100-mile race, then shuffling can be a very good and efficient way to do it. If you're training to break 25 minutes in a park run, then you'll need to be picking your feet up a lot more in order to be running efficiently. So I'm going to talk about running technique and a safe way to learn to pick your feet up in another video.